Hello everyone. Today we'll start the next topic, separating the components of a mixer. Okay, let me start. We have learned that most of the natural substances are not chemically pure. For example, ink. Ink is not chemically pure. Milk is not chemically pure, or the iron which we obtain from the iron ore, it is not chemically pure. And beside these substances, many more substances are there which are not chemically pure. Different methods of separation are used to get individual components from a mixer. Means we are using different methods to separate them, so that we so that it will be easier for us to study and use the individual components of a mixer. Okay, heterogeneous mixers can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical method. Heterogeneous mixers, for example, oil in wait heterogeneous mixer, for example, oil and water. We can separate the heterogeneous mixers, there are some many examples, by using simple physical method like hand picking. So where we use the hand picking, I just explain. First method is hand picking. Hand picking we use to separate stones from rice pulses. Okay, by using hand picking method, we can separate stones from rice or pulses, or for separating mixture from of chilies and lady finger, we can use the method of hand picking. Or sometime you observe that while drinking milk, suppose some mosquito fell into the milk, then by using the hand picking method we can separate the mosquito. Okay, the second method is sieving. Sieving we use to separate tea leaves from tea. Okay, and the same method like filtration. Sieving and filtration, they both are same, but the basic difference is the filtration is the separating of solids from liquid only. Like tea leaves from tea, you separate, you can say it is filtration, either it is filtration or sieving, no problem. But sieving can be used to separate solid from liquid, or solid from some other substances. But filtration is used only for separating the solid substances from liquid. This is the basic difference. Okay, means by using simple physical method like hand picking, sieving, filtration, we can separate the things. Sometimes special techniques have to be used for the separation of the components of a mixer. Here we just discuss one by one the different techniques to separate the things. So our first activity, 2.4 activity, how can we obtain colored component dye from blue or black ink? How can we obtain colored component, means how can we obtain dye from blue black ink? Okay, this is the activity. First, fill half a beaker with water. There is given below, there is a picture. Okay, first point is fill half a beaker with water. This is a beaker and you fill it half up. You can see that this is full beaker and the water level is 50%. And second point, put a watch glass on the mouth of the beaker. This is the watch glass. Okay, put few drops of ink on the watch glass. You take a few drinks or few drops of ink and you put on the watch glass. Now start heating the beaker. We do not want to heat the beaker, heat the ink directly. This is the question. Why we should not heat the ink directly? The reason is, if we heat it directly, then the ink is decomposed, means the ink is burnt and we cannot separate the dye from the ink. Okay, now just you will see the now start the ink but not directly. Okay, then you will see evaporation is taking place because you heat the beaker containing water. Continue heating as the evaporation goes on and stop heating when you do not see any further change on the watch glass. Means when you are not observing the steam, you just stop it. Observe carefully and record your observation. So what will be your observation? Our observations will be, when you heat the beaker containing water, then water from the ink, means in ink there is also water, and water from the ink, it goes up in the form of vapors, means there is no water. Okay, here this is, what do you think has got evaporated from the watch glass? Water is evaporated. The answer is water. Is there a residue on the watch glass? Yes, there is a residue on the watch glass. What is your interpretation? Is ink a single substance or is it a mixture? The answer is, it is a mixture. It is not a single substance, because ink is a mixture of a dye in water. Thus we can separate the volatile components like water from its non-volatile component, non-volatile solid, by the method of evaporation. Means when you do evaporation, then volatile substances which can be evaporated, they evaporate and the residue you will get. Means this is the method to separate or obtain components from blue black ink. What kind of component? The non-volatile component. Okay, so this method is used to obtain non-volatile component from the mixer. Okay, the next method is, how can we separate cream from milk? Nowadays we get full cream, toned, double tone varieties of milk packed in poly packets or tetra packs in the market. These varieties of milk contain different amount of fat, and you will have to separate the cream, butter from the milk. And what is the method you use to separate them? The method is centrifugation. Centrifugation. This is the method you are using to separate the components from the milk, and milk is a colloidal solution. Okay, take some full cream milk in a test tube. Just take a test tube and you take milk in it, centrifuge it. There is some centrifuging machine. We put in the centrifuging machine this tube, and if it is not available in school, you can do this activity at home by using milk churner used in the kitchen. If you have milk dairy nearby, you can visit and how they separate cream from milk. You can ask them how they make cheese from milk. You can ask. Means in simple words, you just take a test tube and take milk in it and then put in the centrifuging machine. After some time, what you observe on the churning the milk, you will be observing them in the test tube. Some denser particles they settle down, and some lighter particles they float. Lighter particle because they are light, the density is less. So you can separate the lighter particle as well as the denser particle from the milk. This is the technique. Sometimes the solid particles in a liquid are very small, and by using filtration method you cannot separate them. Such a mixer are separating by centrifugation, because if you filter the milk you cannot separate cream butter from the milk. Same from the blood, you cannot separate the cells by filtering them because they are very small, and it looks like homogeneous mixer, but it is not homogeneous, it is a heterogeneous mixer. Okay, so for them you are using the centrifuging machine or the method. The principle is that the denser particles are forced to bottom, means denser particles settle down at bottom, and the lighter particles they float at the top. Now, what are the applications? And applications are important. Just know the application of each methods. At least two applications you should remember. First, use in laboratories for blood and urine test. Now the question is how they use centrifuging methods to diagnose for blood and urine test. First, you just take a urine sample or urine or blood. Okay, if you test for blood, then you take blood. If you test for urine, then you take urine in the test tube. Okay, then using centrifuging machine, put it in the centrifuging machine. Okay, and then on the machine. Now you find that some liquid from the mixer they separate. Means when you centrifuging it, then some solid substances and liquid substances are separated. Means by using centrifuging, solid particles or solid cells and liquids they get separated. When they get separated, like in blood, if we talk about the blood, means RBC, WBC and platelets, they get separated and you will observe them, RBC and WBC or platelets. So this is the method how you use to diagnose for blood and urine test. Now the same method is used in dairies and home to separate butter from cream, and third is used in washing machine to squeeze out water from wet cloths. And the concept behind is when a very fine particles is whirled rapidly, then some denser particles are forced to settle at the bottom and some lighter particles are remaining at the tops. Then you can use the centrifuging methods. Now the next is very easy. How can we separate a mixture of two immiscible liquid? Immiscible liquid means the liquids which cannot be mixed with each other. For example, oil and water. These are the immiscible liquids. They cannot mix with each other. So let us try to separate kerosene oil from water using a separating funnels. Okay, pour the mixture of kerosene oil and water in a separating funnel. This is the separating funnel, and you take kerosene oil and water. You know kerosene oil is lighter than water, so it floats over the water. Okay, this is the separating funnel, and this is stopcock. Stopcock means when you stop it, then the liquid cannot come out from the separating funnel. Okay, now you just lose the stop cock. The water is coming from the separating funnel, and when this water comes to this level, and then to you stop it, means you having the water in the beaker, and remaining oil is in the separating funnel, means this is the method you separate the oil from the water. Okay, open the just read, open the stop cock of the separating funnel and pour out the lower layer of water carefully. Close the stop cock and you will get oil reaches the stop cock, then you will separate it. Now what are the applications? To separate a mixture of oil and water, we discuss. In the extraction of iron from its ore, the lighter slag. First, I will make you understand what is slag. Slag is the waste material. Okay, when you extract extraction of iron, means iron ore से आपने just you want to extract the iron. When you extract it, then you first heat the iron. Okay, when you heat, means the iron is in liquid form. Okay, slag is also in the liquid form. And what is slag? Slag is the waste material. Okay, waste material that is left after metal has been removed from the rock. So these are the both are the liquids, but they are not miscible. They are immiscible liquids. Means you can separate them by using the separating funnel. Okay, you know slag. Slag means the waste material. Slag means the waste material. Okay. Now the principle is